Mario, the song that shook a nation, 1985. Libreville, Gabon. Franco Luambo walks into Studio Mademba. He's about to create the most controversial song of his career. A song that will sell 200,000 copies. A song that will change how an entire generation thinks. His name was Franco Luambo Makiadi. But the world knew him as Franco, le Grand Maître, the sorcerer of the guitar. By 1985, Franco had been making music for over 30 years. He led TPOK Jazz, the greatest African band of all time. But Franco was more than just a musician. He was a chronicler, a social commentator, a mirror held up to Congolese society. When Franco sang, people listened. When Franco criticized, people changed. When Franco told a story, it became part of the national conversation. And in 1985, Franco saw something in the streets of Kinshasa that disturbed him deeply. Zaire in the 1980s. President Mobutu had ruled for nearly 2 decades. The economy was struggling. Jobs were scarce. Young people were graduating from universities with nowhere to go. And Franco noticed a disturbing trend. Educated young men, men with degrees, men with potential, were choosing a different path. They weren't looking for work. They weren't building careers. They were becoming gigolos, living off wealthy older women, sugar mamas who would pay for their clothes, their cars, their lifestyle. All they had to do was pretend to love them.
Bongo olioyo luka mosala oboyiko luka mosala okiko kotela mwasi libala mokolo nini bafamille na yo bakolia mbongo oyo bango babebisaki Mario luka mosala.
Franco had addressed this before subtly in an earlier song called Petit Poussin. But the problem was getting worse, more visible, more accepted, and Franco decided it was time to stop being subtle. 1985. TPOK Jazz travels to Libreville, Gabon for a recording session. Franco has a new song in mind, a character study, a warning, a satire. He calls it Mario. The song tells the story of a young, educated man named Mario. He's intelligent, he's handsome, he's well-dressed. But Mario doesn't work. He lives with an older woman who pays for everything. Franco writes the song from the woman's perspective. A woman who once benefited from another man's generosity and now uses her money to keep a young lover. But she's growing tired, bitter, angry at what she's created. For the lead vocals, Franco chooses Madilu System, the same Madilu who had just become a star with Mamu the year before. Madilu's expressive voice would bring this woman's pain and frustration to life. The recording begins under the direction of Elvis Camayo, a Cameroonian producer. 14 minutes of pure storytelling, no holding back, no softening the message. Franco uses biting humor, sarcasm, vivid imagery. He talks about Mario's childhood bed, too small for his adult body now, a symbol of his refusal to grow up. He mentions a Mercedes accident, the collapse of materialistic facades. He describes Mario's obsession with creams and cosmetics, superficiality and vanity. The song is brutal, honest, uncomfortable, perfect. When Mario was released in 1985, it exploded.
Mario,
200,000 copies sold in Zaire alone. Gold certification, the biggest hit of Franco's career. But more than sales, Mario sparked a national conversation. Young men were angry. They felt attacked, Called out, exposed. Older women were embarrassed, some defensive, some awakened. Parents played the song for their children as a warning. Teachers used it in schools. Radio stations couldn't stop playing it. Franco had done what he always did best. He held up a mirror to society, and society didn't like what it saw. The French music journalist François Bensignor would later call it arguably Franco's greatest masterpiece and one of the monuments of 20th century Congolese music. But Franco wasn't done with Mario. The demand for Mario was so overwhelming that Franco did something unusual. He recorded it 2 more times. Mario 2 came out later in 1985, then Mario 3 in 1987, included on the album L'Animation Non-Stop. Each version told the story from different angles, added new details, explored more consequences. The character of Mario became legendary. Everyone knew someone like him. Everyone had an opinion about him. Franco had created more than a song. He had created a cultural touchstone, a cautionary tale that would last for generations. But here's what made Franco a genius. He didn't just attack Mario. In the song, the woman isn't innocent either. Franco criticizes her choices too. She once took from a man, and now she's creating the same problem by supporting Mario. Franco called it his double-edged approach. He criticized both the parasite and the enabler, both the gigolo and the sugar mama. This is why the song resonated so powerfully. It wasn't one-sided. It was honest about everyone's role in the problem. Young men needed to work and build their own futures, but older women also needed to stop enabling dependency. Society needed to change, and Mario was the wake-up call. Franco Luambo Makiadi died on October 12, 1989, just 4 years after Mario. He was only 51 years old. But Mario lived on. Artists from multiple genres have covered it. The Afro-salsa group Africando, rapper Marshall Dixon, singer Fally Ipupa, each generation rediscovering its message, because the issue hasn't disappeared. In 2025, 40 years after Mario was recorded, young people still face the same temptations. The easy path versus the hard path, dependency versus independence, and Mario remains a reminder. Shortcuts may seem attractive, but they cost you your dignity, your potential, your future. Franco didn't just make music. He made anthems, lessons, warnings. Mario is proof that a song can be more than entertainment. It can be a force for change, a mirror, a teacher. 14 minutes that sold 200,000 copies and changed how a nation thought about responsibility, work, and self-respect.